This knitted podcast is going to be very packed. I have a lot of stuff to share with you. Hi there! Welcome back to my knitting channel. My name is Alena, and today we are going to have a classical knitting podcast where I will tell you everything about my finished objects, my work in progress, and some yarn acquisitions, and also I have one new knitting magazine that I will share as well. I think that's worth starting without long introduction, and I want to start from my freshly finished object. I literally just attached buttons 10 or 5 minutes before starting this podcast, because usually attaching buttons required some additional work and brain work from me. I don't really like to do it, but I really like clothes with buttons, so we have to be flexible here in finding suitable patterns and time to attach buttons. This is Maggie Vest. It is knitted in pale grey, not too bright, nothing bright over here happening. This is just a grey vest with a round neck. I can close my button. And we have a cat here. I will add a photo. It looks like. So, this is a vest by PetiteKnit with English tailored shoulder detail, and it's knitted flat, just in stockinette with round neck. You start from the bottom of your back. You need kind of like a trapezoid shape, increasing each row from the wrong side and from the right side to add this wide, not wide, but very noticeable line of before the increases. Then you need, you shape this part, then you need a little bit straight without any increases and decreases, and then you start forming the armholes. I knitted this vest in a size, I think, XS. This is the second size. I was thinking about XS or maybe XXS, because usually PetiteKnit's pattern tend to have a lot of positive ease, but I decided to go with S size. As you can see, it's not so much of a positive ease. But what's nice is that XXS and XS starts with the same amount of stitches, so you can decide when you go which size you want to knit. And I knitted almost all the increases, and I decided to add 2 more to finish with the correct size. But also one important thing is I decided to slightly raise the armhole, because I don't like too deep armholes from all 4 of this pattern. I saw that the armhole is quite deep and it can be somewhere here, and it's not something that I prefer. So I decided to add a little bit less increases. No, I decided to make them a little bit more rapid than the pattern suggests, and that's how I did it. Then you're picking up stitches from the shoulder part, you're picking it up, then you increasing for your neckline and decreasing a little bit for your shoulder slope, because your body is slightly curved with some shapes, so you need to add a little bit of decreases over here to shape it nicely. Then you do the same. Oh no, that's a cardigan, that's why you need the whole thing flat. So you need the whole thing flat, once again forming your armholes, and do the same with the second one. Then you join under the arms, casting on some stitches and knitting flat. You're knitting flat to the recommended length. I have knitted mine slightly shorter than the pattern suggests, because usually I wear almost every day some high-waisted pants and high-waisted skirts, so I don't want to tuck a lot of fabric into them, so I decided not to go with the full length. And I made 1 by 1 rib, also slightly shorter than the pattern suggests. Not 6 centimeters, but I think 5 centimeters or so. And I binded off the bottom edge with just binding off in the pattern, because I thought that Italian bind off a little bit too much for the part of the body that anyone won't see. Because why? I'm tucking in all of my tops, and I kind of find that the most comfortable for me. So I didn't want to spend a lot of time on Italian bind off. Then you can start from knitting these button bands or from your armholes. I made my armholes before finishing the body. It's just 1x1 rib with Italian bind off for both of them, and almost the same for your button bands. You do one without buttonholes, another one with buttonholes, and at the very end you form your neckline with once again 1x1 rib and Italian bind off, plus you add one more additional buttonhole because the last button will sit over here. The pattern suggests how to count your stitches between buttons, but I got a feeling that over here I have a little bit more stitches than over here. Right? I don't know if you can see it, but I got such a feeling. Maybe it could be changed. So I found my yarn to show you. I have used 6 skeins of Lamana Comi Cashmere. That's how much I got left from my 6 skein. Not a lot, but also I used the same yarn to attach my buttons. This is the yarn that I've used. In color 05M, this is 70% wool, 30% cashmere. It's quite soft, it's fluffy, it fluffs up amazingly after blocking. I was slightly afraid that the fabric will feel a little bit too thin, because yes, I haven't knitted a gauge swatch. Sometimes this happens with me, but I really try to do it all the time. So it fluffed up nicely. The fabric not so dense as with Cardigan cashmere, but I think that's not a problem because it's a vest, it's not a sweater, and it's quite okay for me. I think that I can wear it with a short over it, maybe a jacket over it, or maybe some cardigan. We'll see with cardigans, but right now I think that's enough for me for warmness, and I can wear it to my office with a jacket because it's not too cold in the office itself. That's, you know, like in summer it's too cold, but in winter it's not too cold. But what else I can add here? I think nothing else. The only interesting thing that I want to share with you is that this yarn is quite similar to Cardigan cashmere in the fact that you got fingering weight. This seems like kind of fingering weight yarn because it's 25 grams and there is 120 meters, so in 50-gram balls you'll get light fingering weight yardage, but it's quite, you know, like flat. I'm not sure that I can show you. It is really fluffy, and after blocking it fluffs up nicely. And additional thing to add, this yarn was kindly gifted by the brand No Strings Attached. They haven't asked me to share about this yarn or anything like that. I just want to give you a recommendation. If you have a chance to knit with this yarn, you can definitely try it. Second finished object that I want to share with you is the one that you also seen already, and probably if you follow me on Instagram you saw it as a finished object. This is my Elsi Vest. Probably this color is not too suitable color from my palette, but I like how it looks. Sometimes you need something gray, but this one, I think that this one really brightens me. Oh, you will see while editing, but right now on my camera I see that it looks quite nice. So this was a test knit, so this yarn and pattern was kindly gifted by Önling and Milena Paulina. This is a cabled vest, kind of oversized with a round neck, and this vest showed me that I'm a big vest girly because I like how it looks on me. Despite the fact that it is a round neck, I was sure that I can wear only V-neck vests, but this one looks nice. This vest has a nice drape. It's fluffy, it's very fluffy. I like how the color looks, because it's a little bit moody, dark purple, slightly maybe plum color. Let's go to the... Oh, you know, I have this one, so I can show you. A little less uncomfortable, probably. This one. I knitted this vest in size 2 with much bigger needles than the one recommended. The recommended needles over here was 3.5 and 3, and I think I knitted on 4.5 and 4mm needles or something like that. So this is an oversized full cabled vest that you start from knitting the back. Back part you start knitting almost a rectangle, there's no back shaping. You knit till somewhere like this, then you start adding armhole shaping, and you shape the armholes with traveling cables. That's what I really like in the pattern. What I mean by that is, you can see it over here, is that you have a cable that knits up nicely, and then you have all the cables going from it, you know, like new increases. I find this way of increases a little bit more, I don't know, accurate maybe. Like, it's up to you what type of increases to use in the patterns that you follow, but I like this type. You knit the back yoke, then you pick up stitches for one shoulder, knit a little bit, forming a part of your neckline, then you do the same with another side, join your neckline, join over here near the neckline, then you knit a little bit flat, start forming your armholes as well as usual. Then you, after forming your armholes, you join under the armholes, knitting your body. For the length you decide to go, I knitted the same length that pattern suggests, with the same amount of pattern repeats over here under the armhole. The only difference that I have with the pattern is that pattern suggests to knit your hem in the round, and I have a split hem. I'm a sucker for a good split hem. This is 2x2 rib on the hem, 2x2 rib on the armholes, and 2x2 rib on the neckline. Armholes are knitted with 2x2 rib and they are not folded, and I finish them once again with just by binding off in the pattern. No Italian bind off. I am not the biggest fan of 2x2 Italian bind off, because you need to add additional steps. Then you should be sure that your tension is quite right. This one knits pretty fast for me, and I think that it's also look quite neat. The neckline over here is knitted with 2x2 rib once again, but it's a folded neckline, and this was the first time that I decided to bind off separately and then to sew it down. Usually I bind off and sew down at the same time, but this time I decided to follow the recommendations of the pattern, and it wasn't too bad. Maybe next time with the same type of neckline I will do the same. Who knows? The yarn that I've used here is Önling number 10 and Önling number 20. One of them is silk mohair and another one is a wool. Wool can be slightly scratchy, a little bit itchy. Silk mohair softens it a bit, but silk mohair can be slightly itchy as well. I'm sure I won't wear anything with a high neck knitted with this yarn combo, but as a vest or as a sweater without too high color, it can be pretty nice. The next finished object that I have for you is something that you haven't seen at all probably, and this is my dual loop beanie. I hope it won't ruin my hair. This is a red beanie that I decided to knit for Red Col on Instagram that were organized by Knitting Archives, and I knitted it with the most precious yarn that you can think about, and this is Cashmere by Gepardgarn. It's on the pricier side, yes, I can totally agree with you, but I wanted to try it, and I really wanted to have a red beanie. On the camera right now I see that it looks slightly orangey, but it's a true red, you know, like maybe with slight orange undertone, but I cannot say that it's as orangey as on the camera. Maybe I will show some pictures and it will look a little bit better. I've used 1.5 skein of that yarn. Probably I can squeeze some small scarf with it to have a pair, but we'll see what happens with the leftover. This is a pattern by Other Loops. It has two sizes, one for adult, one for child, so not the best size range, but I think that's because it's quite stretchy as you're knitting it with ribs, but you need to check if it will work for you or not. Why it's called loop beanie is because you need brim with 1x1 rib and then you need 2x2 rib. The strange thing happened with me that I understood that my 1x1 rib on the wrong side was a little bit more tighter. However, usually it's not so noticeable, but in this pattern it was. So when I had to start knitting 2x2 rib, I decided to turn the work inside out and kind of like change the direction of knitting. So my 1x1 rib will be on the better side. You start knitting these from Italian cast-on. You cast on stitches, knitting some amount of, I don't remember how much centimeters you have to knit for the brim. Then you switch to 2x2 rib, knit once again around 20 centimeters, but you have to try it on. It's definitely something that you need to try on, because maybe you'll decide to go with a shorter hat or maybe with a longer hat, it's up to you. And then you add decreases. I think that the same way decreases over here shaped as for Hipster Hat by PetiteKnit, for example, and I like how it looks. This time I counted my stitches several times and I haven't made any mistakes, so the brim was possible to knit from the first attempt. I think that it looks nice. It's soft. I can wear it for the whole day without no irritation, without no itchiness on my forehead. So definitely a nice yarn to try, especially if you want to, you know, like you're not sure that you're ready to buy a sweater quantity and you don't have enough money for that because it's pricey, but you can try to get 2 balls of this yarn to knit yourself such a beautiful hat. I think that I've knitted it quite quickly, and I knitted it during my birthday vacation. And fun fact, previous year I knitted during similar trip my Sunday socks. They were also with 2x2 rib and in a red yarn. Of course in another one, but you know, I kind of have probably a red moment during my vacation. And the last finished object that I want to share with you is this huge sweater. I'm not sure that I'm ready to put it into the hanger, so I will show you somewhere like that. It's huge, definitely. This is equal sweater, and this is once again a test knit. I have kind of a test knit moment probably right now. This is a big chunky drop shoulder sweater with stripes, 2x2 rib, long sleeves, long body. This is the longest sweater that I've knitted. It's extremely oversized, as you can see. I think that I have around 30 or 35 centimeters of positive ease on the bust. That's definitely the most oversized, the biggest piece of work that I've ever done, probably. No, I have a dress. So maybe the dress was more, on the dress there was more knitting, but who knows. So, what about this one? This was a test knit for UllenKnitwear. Maria asked if I want to knit it when she had just an idea of it, and I decided to jump in. I knitted it slightly slower than I expected. I thought that in 5 or 6 weeks I could knit it, but it took almost 2 months to finish it. Maybe the reason was that I started getting some wrist issues during knitting it. It's not related to this specifically sweater, but probably I was too stressed at work and my gauge became too tight, so it was kind of harsh on my hands, but everything at that time felt too harsh. The yarn that I've used here, this is... One second, I'll show you. I'm prepared. I have a lot of yarn to show you. So, the yarn that I've used here is Baby Alpaca by BCGarn in color 104. This is Baby Alpaca. You see how drapey it is. Semilla Melange in exactly the same color, but color number is 04. Nice. It's slightly hazard. It's woolly, but not too woolly. It's not too scratchy. It feels a little bit dry, but not too scratchy. This is a fingering weight Baby Alpaca, and it's extremely soft. This is, I think it's kind of somewhere between sport weight and light decay weight. Semilla Melange in color 02, as well slightly hazard, and and Baby Alpaca in color 131. I hope it was in focus. As you can see, my main color is slightly not the same as the dark stripes, but I like it. Really, I'm ready to live in this sweater. I took this sweater and another sweater to my trip to Gdansk recently, and I wore only this one for 3 days in a row. I was wearing this, and I didn't want anything else. It was windy, cold. Over here you have a chunky neckline, so it keeps you warm. And what's important, this yarn combination doesn't irritate my skin over here on the neck. I spent literally 2 days in a row in it, from the morning to the end of... Okay. Look who's here. It's hard to show you a black cat on a back blanket, but we have her. So this one doesn't irritate my skin, which was quite a surprise and nice surprise. How do you knit it? You start from casting on a lot of stitches that will form your back, and you form your back yoke to get at this trapezoid shape with the German short rows. Then you knit flat. There is no increases for arm shaping, for armholes. Then you're picking up stitches for your front, for your left shoulder, then for the right shoulder, and then for the left. Usually, I think for the left. Yes, you start from the left shoulder, then you knit right shoulder. You do some increases over here to form the neckline. Probably next time, if I'm going to knit this, maybe I will start increasing over here, not after the first stitch, but after the second one, because I like this, you know, like this line, as you can see. I don't know if you can see, but over here there's a nice line. Oh my god, forming over here, this one. I really like how it looks, and maybe I would do the same for something like that. But as it was a test knit, I decided to go exactly as the pattern suggests, and I followed this pattern to the T. Then you join over here under your neckline. You knit once again flat till you reach end of your yoke, and then you have to pick up your stitches to knit your sleeves, because after the pattern suggests knitting sleeves right after the yoke. Usually I prefer this method as well, because I can be sure then that the body length will be surely enough for me. And important note over here, I'm a tall girl and I followed the pattern to the T, so probably you will have to slightly shorten stripes, or maybe omit one of the stripes to get the same look as I do. You start from the contrast color, you knit chunky stripes, then you switch to your main color, you knit one chunky stripe, then you go back to the contrast color, then you once again do a chunky stripe and finish with 2x2 rib. Over here I have Italian cast off for my sleeves, because it's not too big a problem to switch stitches to get 1x1 rib to finish it with Italian bint off, but I'm not ready to do it for the body. And when you knit your sleeves, as you can see, you decreasing quite rapidly, because you have quite a lot of yarn, quite a lot of fabric over here, so you need to increase quite rapidly to achieve a slightly tapered look. But those sleeves are still quite roomy, so I can wear something underneath and be even more cozier. You can fold your cuffs if you'd like to have a shorter cuffs, but it doesn't work for me. If I fold them, they will be like not too, like something like that. They will be somewhere to here, not too big, not so oversized. That's why I like to wear them without folding. And I can use them instead of fingerless mitts, because they will be like maybe to here. I can definitely hide in this sweater. And then you knit the body in the same way, but without decreases, and then you form your, and then you knit the hem. The length of the front and back is the same. I'm just holding it in a little bit strange way. That's why you may get a feeling that the front is shorter, but no, they're almost the same, right? There is, yes, they're almost the same. I haven't wet blocked this sweater because I don't have time. I just need to wear it. I just steam blocked it and wear it after that time that I needed it. That was it for my finished objects. Let's move to works in progress. In this basket I have probably some pieces of leftover yarn, project bag, but over here is the holy grail of this year, probably. This is the best ever sweater that I could imagine, and I got an opportunity to test knit this sweater. It's not fully finished because the test knit was during quite short period, and with the designers we agreed to knit only one sleeve and the body. And honestly, I couldn't believe that I'm going to test knit for Knitting Folly. This is their snow sweater. And the best part of the sweater is sleeves. This is, I think, definitely the best feature of this pattern, those sleeves. So this is their new Christmas pattern. The yarn, I'm a little bit embarrassed to tell you once again that the yarn was kindly gifted for test knit and pattern as well, but I am definitely on a test knit kick right now. But I think that it can be even a bright side for some of you, because I can share with you some patterns that soon will be released, and you can learn about them a lot of stuff before deciding to knit them or not to knit them. So, what about this sweater? This is round yoke sweater. This is my second one round yoke sweater, and the first one without anything going on the yoke. The first one was Sunday sweater, and I already gifted it to my friend. You start with knitting a folded neckline. You knit it in 1x1 ribs, then you fold it, and then you continue knitting your sweater. You knit this sweater with a lot of German short rows to guarantee a nice fit of the yoke. And as usual for this type of sweaters, you need several rounds, then you add round of rapid increases, and you need a little bit more, then you add another round of rapid increases. For this sweater, it was in a way that you need some chunk of German short rows, then you have a rapid increases round, one more knitting ins round, just without increases knitting ins round, then once again a chunk of short rows, and once again rapid increases. Then, after splitting for the sleeves, you add additional part of additional chunk of German short rows over here to also give it a nice fit and to have a nice and flat hem without any disruption, without any part being a little bit longer than the other one. And then the magic starts. You switch to the sleeves. The sleeves are charted, and the pattern suggests to use ferrule technique because you will have a lot of floats, especially at the very beginning. It was wet blocked, and I need to slightly steam it to omit this line, you know, like this folded line sometimes happens after you wet block your items. This pattern has, I think, 9 or 8 sizes. Let me double check. This pattern has 9 sizes. Sorry for not naming for every pattern amount of sizes, but all of my knitted garments mentioned in this episode will be on my Ravelry, so you can check it out and see sizing for those. You start knitting several rounds without anything. And over here it's very important because when you start knitting your color work, there is no option to lengthen the sleeves or to shorten it. So you have to be mindful at the very beginning. And I have added additional, I think, 12 rows or something like that to achieve the desired sleeve length, as I have long arms. So I have to do it. The pattern tells you about the length of the finished sleeve, so you have to think will you have to decrease it or increase it. And then you start knitting with charts. There are different charts for different sizes. The pattern walks you through it. You knit all your snowflakes, and then you go to the next chart that will tell you how to knit those beautiful trees. You have to be mindful with your sleeves, as there is a lot of going on, especially when you start knitting with 3 colors at the same time. You have to stretch your knit to be sure that the floats are enough, that the floats have enough length. I cannot say that this is the most prettiest inner part of the sweater, but we'll live with it. It still doesn't have second sleeve because I need to be on a specific state of mind to knit it, but I will finish it, I think, definitely till mid of the December. And after your beautiful trees, you knit a little bit of a snow, and then you finish your sleeves with I-cord. I think that I will undo this I-cord and do it with a little bit smaller needle because, you know, it sits flat and I want to cinch it a little bit. Maybe I will try it first not to unravel it, but I will add elastic over here to slightly cinch it. Or maybe I will just try to decrease every 10 stitches. Decrease 1 stitch every 10 stitches to slightly cinch it. I don't know why, but I feel that it will be slightly better to get it a little bit more cinched. A little bit more balloony sleeve to get. One also important note over here is that sweater is knitted in size S. For size S and XS, you will get 4 trees on your sleeve. If you want to have more sleeves, it's better to go with bigger size of a sweater, or you can try to modify a little bit. You can go with size S, for example, for the body. And then when you start knitting the sleeve, add additional amount of stitches over here, slightly, not like, just increase a little bit. Just add a round of rapid increases, for example, to add a little bit volume to your sleeve. and got a stitch count for a bigger size to add more trees. If you feel that's something that you would like to have, but I think that 4 trees is not so bad. The yarns that I've used, obviously, it's Knitting for Olive, Soft Silk Mohair and the Merino, and I want to share with you color combinations that I used. So the main color is Thunder Cloud, both for Merino and I will show like this, both for Merino and Silk Mohair. The color for the trees, this is my favorite color of the green yarns. I have a cardigan knitted with this silk mohair. It's a bottle green. It looks stunning. As you can see, there is not so much of a contrast between those colors. Maybe this one had to be a little bit lighter, maybe, but I think that's quite wearable one. It's not too festive and it's not too ordinary. Kind of in between. And snowflakes are made with this snowflake, merino and silk mohair. Silk mohair may look slightly yellowish, but in the fabric you cannot see that, it's a little bit too yellowish. Have you started knitting your Christmas jumper? Have you decided with the pattern? I have a pattern roundup of Christmas sweaters, so can go and check it out. Maybe there will be something interesting for you as well. All my 3 others work in progress, also test knits, but I will also share some plans that are not test knits, and soon we'll start knitting little other stuff. The next work in progress that I want to share with you is this hat. How do you think? Is this washing me out or not? I don't know, but I wanted to use the sweater. If this won't be my color, I will gift knit it. Definitely I will find someone who can wear those colors together. So this is Knitting for Olive, Merino in color Cloud and Cherry Blossom. And I'm test knitting a hat for my dear friend Valentina, who is knitsoever on Instagram. She recently released Tanto sweater, and also I don't remember how those fingerless mitts called, but she released fingerless mitts pattern, and right now she's testing her hat. This is top down. This is top down construction of a hat. You can start with a provisional cast on, or you can start with standard long tail cast on. I decided to go with long tail cast on because provisional cast on not so big amount of stitches, and knitting with magic loop may be a little bit too much of brain work for me right now, so I decided to like that. Already sew it down, not ideally, I will redo this top of the hat, but what do you do here? You knit in a round, rapidly increasing to get this part, you know, like kind of like a plank over here, and then you increase in both directions, so you can adapt the length however you feel right. And then this hat has a unique kind of brim. It's 1x2 rib, but it's a little bit changed 1x2 rib. I will add a photo so you can see, and soon I will start knitting the brim. I'm quite excited to knit it up, and I think that Valentina creates beautiful patterns. She is at the very beginning of her knitting designer's career, but I saw a lot of her ideas, works in progress, so I know a lot, and I'm really happy that I have a friend who started this path, and I can see a little bit, you know, like something that going behind the scenes. I will have a lot of mess on my bed after finishing this episode. The next, the yarn over here I bought by myself. The next test knit, once again, this is my first test knit for the Caidree designer, is her new cardigan. This will be one more V-neck cardigan. As I mentioned at the very beginning of this year that I want to have a little bit more cardigans, and this is how I'm trying to get there. It is really bright cardigan. Maybe I can try even. I will try to try it on. Oh, I can wear them together, right? Right now I will die from the heat. And right now the cardigan length is almost the same as my Maggie Vest. I find it very bright and like my type of colors. Usually I prefer bright and moody colors, so that's definitely how it looks. You have two different sleeves. It looks like intarsia, but there is no intarsia, so this is interesting construction of this cardigan. I have never tried knitting Caidree's patterns, but this one I decided to try to get to Hetos knitting group, and I was able to do it. The yarn I bought by myself for this pattern. I'm using Gepardgarn Woolia in this bright blue color. This is filcolana Tiliaby because my local yarn store didn't have Gepard kit sweater in the same color, so I had to take this one. And I don't have a ball with me, but dark color, dark gray, almost black color, is also Gepardgarn Woolia. I will add all color numbers in the description below. And the silk mohair is one from my stash. This is Mohair Bliss by Pasquale. I'm trying to understand, is it scratchy? Maybe just a little bit. No, just, but there won't be anything on my neck, so it's not a problem. This cardigan knits up pretty fast because you need it on 5.5mm needles or US 9, I think, or 6mm needles with which are US 10, which needles you may get. Which needles will help you to meet the gauge. I'm knitting it on US 10 6mm needles for the main part. For the cuffs I used smaller, I think it was 5mm needles for the cuffs rib, and for the main rib, for the rib of the main body, it will be 5.5mm needles. You started with the back, as you can see how it looks on the back right now. You start knitting from the long I-cord, and you do I-cord cast on. After that, you knit your back yoke in one color. You form it with German short rows. Right now you can see slightly my short rows over here, but I think that it will block out. Usually it blocks out, so it's not a big problem. Then you start knitting both of one of your front yokes, and you knit another front yoke, and then you switch, like you knit one front yoke in one color, you knit another front yoke in another color. Then you start knitting first stripe. You can play with stripes however you like, but I decided to go with the same color order as in the pattern. I knitted contrast color stripe. No, this is main, just with another color. I needed one stripe. Right now I'm almost done with my second stripe and stripe. First stripe and then second stripe. When I will finish this blue stripe, I will knit my rib with a dark color, and the button band will be also with the same dark color. Why it knits up pretty fast also? Because we got a gauge of 15 stitches, and it's enjoyable to knit. The recommended yarn for the pattern is also Lamana yarn, but Lamana yarn isn't so easy to find in Poland, and I wanted to start as soon as possible. That's why I decided to go with something that I could find in a local yarn stores, and the yarn was delivered like next day after I ordered it. That's the reason why I went with Gepardgarn Woolia, and this was my first time knitting with this yarn. It's soft, it's squishy, and it blooms up nicely after knitting. Definitely, it's so soft, almost a perfect one. It would be a perfect one with silk mohair if it won't irritate my neck, you know? But that's just usually what happens with silk mohair and me. Oh, okay. And third work in progress not, this is a first work in progress that I have, is mitten. This is not a fingerless mitten, this will be just a standard, your favorite one mitten. This is a season set by UllenKnitwear. Once again, she DM'd me and asked if I would like to test knit her set. The set will be with a hat and mittens. As you can see, I'm almost close to start decreasing the mitten. That's the color I'm using. I decided to start from the mittens instead of the hat because I already have the hat on my needles. So we're starting from the mitten. This is her season collection of the patterns, set of the patterns, how to call it correctly, with the same cable patterns. With the same cable motif, Maria has also a sweater. And that's why she decided to knit a set with a hat and mitten to go with that sweater, I think. You start knitting it with 1x1 rib and Italian cast on. My Italian cast on that is not perfect one, but I know that it will block out. But next mitten I will start with smaller needle for the cast on edge and then knit with a recommended needle. It has only 2 sizes, but you can differentiate them by gauge. You can slightly play around with the gauge. The yarn that I'm using here was kindly gifted by Kremke Soul Wool. This is their Merino 140. I've used the Merino 110, their Merino 110 previous year to knit myself sweater number 9 light version, and I wear it a ton. This is probably second the most worn sweater after the previous one that I've showed you, or the first one if you take into account that one I knitted previous year. This is a deep purple color and I find slightly on a kick with this one right now. As for the mitten, you knit it in the round, you knit several centimeters of 1x1 ribs that you can then fold over, and then you start knitting in the cable patterns. You mirror the cable pattern for the left arm, and then you knit according to the pattern for the right one. But the pattern will tell you how to do it. I'm not sure that the way how I try to describe it makes sense. Then you knit several centimeters in the pattern for the cables in front of the mitten. Back of the mitten is knitted just with stockinette. I hope it's in focus. Then you start increasing for the thumb, and then you just put your stitches on hold on some scrap yarn. Usually I prefer to put my stitches on some kind of a cord, but for the thumb it wasn't comfortable, so I put it on my scrap yarn. And then you knit the main part of your hand with the same approach. You knit cables, and then you knit your arm with in the same way when you knit in the stockinette the back, like the inner part of your hand, and with the cables in front. What I found interesting with this pattern is that knitting rib took more time than knitting this part of a cable. I don't know, it's just such a fun and enjoyable cables to knit. Usually I knit all of my cables without cable needles, and this pattern not an exception. I don't like cable needle, especially for such small circumference. It will be like too much. And the hat will be knitted in the same way. You knit the brim with 1x1 rib, and then you knit the cable pattern, and then you decrease. I hope that next time when we will get in touch, I will show you the whole set done. And that's all for my works in progress. As you can see, mostly I'm right now, Snow Sweater is currently on a small pause, and I am trying to finish my cardigan. It's not due to, I think, 2 more weeks, the deadline in 2 more weeks, but I just want to wear it. And no, don't go. And I want to knit a little bit more of accessories, because I feel that that's something that helps you to spice it up, especially when it's cold outside and you wear a big chunky coat and you need something additional. So a lot of my, not a lot, but mostly my acquisitions are about accessories. The first thing that I want to share with you is this magazine. That's a knitting magazine by a Polish brand, Gepardgarn Col. This is a yarn brand, and they decided to come up with their magazine. There are a lot of designers featured here. I like this one by Johan Knits, yes, right? Johan Knits on Instagram, and also by Veronica Barrel, I'm sorry. And I like this beret. And I bought myself, I made a mistake, and when I pre-ordered this magazine, I ordered Baby Alpaca by Gepardgarn Col instead of colorful Baby Alpaca. That's a little bit maybe stupid, but this happened to me. This is quite bright red as well, as you can see, and this is Gepardgarn Col Baby Alpaca 100%. 100% Baby Alpaca, and this is also 100% Baby Alpaca by Gepardgarn Col, but you can see that's quite different yarn. To knit the beret, I don't know why I was thinking about bonnet. To knit that beret you need one ball of this yarn. In the magazine it's written that you need two, because you will need a little bit of another one to knit a swatch, and maybe you will need some adjustments, but we will probably play a little bit of a yarn chicken, but to it with one ball. I don't want to have a lot of leftovers, and if it's possible to knit beret with one ball, finish it fully, I will do it. And there is a lot of different beautiful patterns over here. I will add some b-roll showing it. And second, my yarn acquisition is these beauties. This is Knitting for Olive compatible cashmere in color licorice, and they're merino in the same color. I saw their Alex hood on Instagram, and I just knew that I need to knit it, but I didn't want to have a hood with a scarf too close to my neck with mohair, and they suggested that you can substitute one strand of mohair with one strand of compatible cashmere. Yes, it will be on a pricier side, but I will wear it. The one with mohair probably I could not wear, so that's a girl mess, you know. I want to wear it, that's why I decided to go with it. Look, it's so tiny. It's extremely tiny, but I decided to go with a black one because I want to have some amount of bright accessories, as I showed you. I will have a beret in red one. I will have a hat in this violet one. I have one more red hat, so I needed something classy, and it will be in the black color. It's soft, and I think that the rib, 2x2 rib, will be so squishy and nice with this yarn combination. Can't wait to start it, but I will start it during my trip to Munich Knits. I will go there, so if you will be there, let me know in the comments below, maybe we can meet. And that will be my road trip, like plane trip, waiting in the airport trip, work in progress. That's why I'm not casting on it yet. And that was it. My camera wanted to die because it was quite a long one. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks a lot for watching it. Please let me know in the comments below which projects you find interesting, which ones are you waiting to knit as well, and have a nice day and see you later. Bye.